Back in 2015, when Adidas first introduced the Ultra Boost, it quickly became one of my favorite sneakers of all time. And now, 6 to almost 7 years later, the Ultra Boost is still one of my favorite sneaker silhouettes. And this year, Adidas has improved the sneaker once again with the Ultra Boost 22. What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing the brand new Adidas Ultra Boost 22. First off, before we dive into the video, I do want to say that Adidas has sponsored today's video and provided this product. However, although they provided the product, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to tell you guys the sneaker is better than it actually is. I'm going to give you guys the facts and let you know if this sneaker is right for you. And hey, if they're not, that's totally fine too. There's a ton of other awesome sneakers available on the market that if you're not a fan of the Ultra Boost, you can go and check them out instead. But if you are looking to grab the Adidas Ultra Boost 22, it is available right now on adidas.com in a ton of different colors for a retail price of $190. I've also made sure to leave an affiliate link to this shoe in the description below if you decide to grab this sneaker for yourself. But if you've been following the Adidas Ultra Boost line over the last couple of years, you probably have noticed that this shoe looks very similar to last year's Adidas Ultra Boost 21. And to be fair, the 22 is definitely more of an iterative improvement over the 21 than a complete overhaul. And I actually think that that's a really good thing because the 21 was a complete overhaul of the 20 and the 19, and I really like the way that the 21 felt on feet. And what I like about the 22 is that the changes that they've made actually make this shoe a better sneaker overall. It's not a completely different sneaker, and if you didn't like the 21, you're probably not going to like the 22, but the changes that they made definitely make this a more comfortable sneaker, a more functional sneaker, and honestly, a little bit better looking as well. Now, before we get into the sneaker, let's take a quick look at the box, and if you're familiar with the Ultra Boost 21's box, or really any of the previous Ultra Boost boxes, you'll notice that this box has had a graphical overhaul, and definitely sort of highlights the fact that this shoe is trying to end plastic waste by using recycled materials. And because this shoe is made partially with Parley Ocean Plastics, which is a longtime partner of Adidas, they do have this little sticker here which allows you to scan the Parley ID. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but why don't we scan it and find out? So basically, this QR code just takes you to some information about Parley. It's not that exciting. I thought maybe it was some sort of like cool, authentication system, but it's not. Not that you really need that for the Ultra Boost, but still kind of cool that you have a quick link to show people what actually went into your sneaker. But with the box out of the way, let's dive right into the sneaker itself. So like I mentioned, the upper of this shoe heavily utilizes recycled materials, which I'm a huge fan of. According to Adidas, the knit on the upper of the shoe is primeknit, as longtime Adidas fans would probably already know, and apparently 50% of the yarn that's used in this primeknit is made up of Parley recycled ocean plastics. And what I find really interesting about that is that even though you've got a bunch of essentially plastic water bottles in the upper of your shoe, the yarn still feels very soft, very stretchy, and very comfortable on foot. And if you've tried on or tried out any of the recent Ultra Boost releases over the last 1.5 to 2 years, you've definitely worn a pair of Ultra Boost with recycled plastics in the upper. Now, as far as the actual knit pattern on the upper of this shoe, it has changed from the Ultra Boost 21. Granted, it's not really a huge change. One thing that I do really like about this toe box area aesthetically is that they seem to have this nice callback to the original Ultra Boost with this sort of arrow shape on the toe. In fact, I actually have a pair of Ultra Boost 1.0s right here because I planned. So on the toe of both of these shoes, you'll notice that the ventilation holes create this sort of arrow shape, which I really like and makes the shoe feel a little bit more speedy, or at least it gives you the affordance of speed or moving forward. Another change that's not so noticeable about the toe of this sneaker is that if you look at it from the side of the shoe, it's actually a lot flatter towards the toe than the Ultra Boost 21. And I think that's because the knit towards the front of this sneaker isn't as structured as it was in the 21, so it's a little bit softer, a little bit stretchier, and in my opinion feels better on foot. Yet another change on the upper of this shoe is the removal of some ventilation holes along the side of the midfoot and just above this arrow detail on the toe. But even though you're losing some ventilation holes on this shoe, I don't feel like it makes the shoe any warmer. To be fair, because this is a knit upper, it's going to be pretty well ventilated regardless. The fact that there is some ventilation holes in the toe and on the top of the foot means that you are going to get some nice ventilation. And again, knits just always breathe well unless they're super thick, and this is a pretty thin knit, so it's going to be a pretty breathable shoe, and you're never really going to overheat in this sneaker, even when you're going on long runs. Moving up in the shoe to the midfoot, you'll notice one of the largest changes between the 22 and the 21, and that's this brand new midfoot cage. So the midfoot cage on this shoe does seem to be pretty heavily redesigned. It's actually pretty different from the 21s. The first thing you'll notice are these new lace loops on the bottom eyelets, which I think to actually help bring the midfoot cage closer together when you tighten the shoe. Not only that, because there's less plastic material up here, they don't really dig into the top of your foot. Not that I had too much of an issue with that on the 21, but I did hear people were complaining about that. And with the removal of just a little bit of extra plastic material, you don't seem to have that problem anymore, which I definitely appreciate. Another Another difference can be found near the top of the tongue where you have this raised eyelet, and I would guess that the reason that they did this is so that there's a little bit more friction between the midfoot cage and the laces to allow you to get more snug fit, and so that the laces don't really slide around when you're wearing the shoe. The laces themselves, however, seem relatively unchanged. They're just your standard flat black laces. Underneath the laces, you've got your pretty standard prime knit tongue portion, and then at the top of the tongue, you've got this really interesting sort of new raised Adidas logo, which actually seems to have a little bit of padding on the back. Then moving inside the shoe, you've got this really nicely padded sock liner around the heel, which I actually think is more heavily padded than on the Ultra Boost 21 and really does a nice job of sort of cupping your foot. It feels great. Not only that, but the actual shape of the heel seems to be swept a little bit farther forward so that it holds your heel in place much better. The insole of the sneaker comes in black with the words "End Plastic Waste," made with Parley Ocean plastic printed on the heel, and also what I'm guessing is the same QR code you had on the box. Let me double check. Oh no, it's actually a different QR code. It takes you to a different page about Parley Ocean Plastics. But now getting to sizing and fit, the Adidas Ultra Boost 21 does seem to fit true to size, which I really appreciate. I'm pretty sure the Ultra Boost 21 also fit true to size from what I can remember. I'm sure they're still using the same lasts from that shoe, so it's gonna feel pretty similar on foot. One thing I will say though is that this shoe does run ever so slightly narrow, so if you have a wider foot, maybe go up half a size just to mitigate this sort of tightness around the sides of your foot. However, if you have regular width feet or narrow feet, you should be totally fine going true to size. But as I always suggest, if you have the chance to try this shoe on or even a pair of Ultra Boost 21s on before you buy this pair, I definitely recommend doing that to make sure that you're grabbing the right size for you. There's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on a brand new pair of sneakers and then finding out that they don't fit. The nice thing about Adidas though is that they have a great return policy, so if they don't fit for you, just send them back and then order the right size and you should be good to go. Continuing back in the shoe, you've got that classic Adidas Ultra Boost exposed heel counter. This time around it comes in a matte finish with the Ultra Boost text and gloss. Now while this heel counter is a little bit slimmer than it has been on previous models like the 19s and the 20s and even some of the earlier models, it still does provide some nice heel lockdown and prevents lateral movement so you're not sliding around on the footbed of this shoe. And that's something that I definitely appreciate not only while I'm running but just for day-to-day lifestyle wear. Then moving down on the shoe to the namesake of the entire sneaker, and that's the thick Ultra Boost midsole. There is so much boost in this midsole, it looks like almost 1.5 inches of boost. It's ridiculous, but it feels amazing underfoot. If you guys have not tried Boost, I don't know what you're doing. You've had since 2015 to try it. It's genuinely one of the most comfortable underfoot cushions you can ever try. I think the original Ultra Boost was probably the most comfortable shoe I had ever worn up until like 2019 when the Ultra Boost 2019s came out. And even then, the only reason that that shoe was more comfortable is because there was more boost. And the Ultra Boost 22, to my knowledge, has more boost than any other Adidas sneaker except for the Ultra Boost 21 because they seem to have the exact same midsole. And if a cloud-like cushioned ride is what you're looking for in your day-to-day lifestyle or even your performance running sneakers, I definitely recommend the Ultra Boost 22. Now, one thing to keep in mind about Boost though is that Boost is definitely on the softer end of cushions. If you're looking for a firmer ride or you like a lot of ground feel, the Ultra Boost is probably not the best way to go for you. But if you're looking for almost stupid cushion underfoot, you love the way the Boost feels, then this is definitely a great shoe to go with. Then moving to the bottom of the sneaker, you've got this Continental rubber on the outsole, which is great for both dry and wet conditions. The traction on this shoe is excellent. That's something that wasn't always the case with Ultra Boost, especially with the original Ultra Boost sneakers. I found that, well, this isn't the original outsole, but on the very original Ultra Boost sneakers, like the Ultra Boost 1.0s from 2015, I found myself slipping like every so often, especially in snowy conditions. Now on the 22s, I have no problems with traction. The traction pattern works really well, and I'm assuming also the rubber compound that they use works really well in sort of maintaining the grip with the road. And finally, getting to the last change on the Ultra Boost 22, you've got the brand new LEP system. So LEP stands for Linear Energy Push, and it's essentially a torsion system on the bottom of the shoe. In addition to stopping the shoe from twisting from side to side when you run, it also helps to propel you forward and acts as almost like a spring plate underneath your foot. Oh, and actually, before I forget, there is one other pretty major change that was made to the Ultra Boost 22 from the Ultra Boost 21, and it's actually not so much the addition of something, but really more so the removal of something. So the Adidas Ultra Boost 22 is a lighter sneaker than the Adidas Ultra Boost 21. I won't say it's incredibly noticeable, but I will say once you know that the shoe is lighter, you can definitely feel it a little bit. And it's also something that runners can definitely appreciate. It's always better to have lighter shoes because you really have to carry around less weight on your feet. It just kind of makes sense. Now, price-wise, unfortunately, the Ultra Boost 22 is $10 more expensive than the Ultra Boost 21, which I don't love. I wish they had kept the price point the same. Maybe the materials are more expensive, or maybe they're trying to keep up with inflation. I'm not sure exactly why they raised the price, but I don't love that about it. I do think, however, that the Ultra Boost 22 is a great sneaker, and you won't regret paying $190 for it. However, if you're on a budget and you still want to grab a pair of Ultra Ultra Boost, you could grab a pair of Ultra Boost 21s on sale because they're pretty deeply discounted at this point, and they're still a great sneaker overall. So overall, in my opinion, the Ultra Boost 22 is a really great incremental improvement over the Ultra Boost 21. Like I said earlier on in the video, if you didn't like the 21, you're probably not going to like the 22. However, if you like the 21, you're going to love the 22. It's just a better sneaker overall. It's more comfortable on foot. You can feel the boost more because of the new LEP system. The upper is more lightweight. It's a great sneaker. I absolutely love it. And if you're looking for a great lifestyle / running sneaker that's incredibly comfortable underfoot, I definitely recommend picking up the Ultra Boost 22. But with that, we wrap up this video on the Adidas Ultra Boost 22. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on this sneaker and whether it's a sneaker that you're planning on picking up, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.